Good morning everyone, welcome back to another episode of Savanna Stay-at-Home Safaris. Waking up this morning, we've got these beautiful red-billed quailias all flocking in these reeds here around one of our dams. Amazing, there's probably hundreds of thousands of them living inside those reeds. They come in there at night time to roost to stay protected, and then you can also see them taking off like that in their big the big balls that you see flying through the sky like that. In the background you'll hear the baboons waking up inside the camp. The big male asserting his dominance over the youngsters there. But we'll head up and go have a look maybe and see what happened with the giraffe carcass over the last couple of days, see if the Ottawa Pride is still around. Otherwise we'll see what else the morning has for us. So after a slow drive up towards the river, it's very cold this morning, a beautiful clear day, so all that heat from yesterday escaped, and very cold up here by the river, but we've arrived back towards that giraffe carcass and still find the Ottawa Pride and Matimba male feeding on the carcass at the moment. So we'll spend a bit of time here. There's lots of vulture activity around, but the lion's still definitely protecting the carcass for now. So have a look at this vulture here. He's busy sneaking his way closer and closer towards the carcass. What you'll find is as the heat of the day starts to come around, the lions are going to be less reluctant to lie out here in the open and more want to be moving closer to the shade. And as that happens, you'll see the vultures will get more and more brave, getting closer and closer. But it's quite interesting to watch the young female. She's on guard duty at the moment. So as those vultures have got quite close to the carcass, she's gone off and chased them and chased them away. And that'll be a constant battle that the lions will have over the next day or two that they're still on this carcass, is that the chance of vultures coming down and eating a lot of the carcass. So plenty of hooded vultures up in this tree. Hooded vultures don't normally eat too much of the carcass. They don't have the big strong beak like the rest of the vultures do. So for them to go into a carcass and pull out large chunks of meat is much harder. They're kind of after the more finer pieces of meat and leftovers that the rest kind of can't get to. There are some whitebacks in the area, but I'm sure as soon as the lions move off and give the vultures a chance, they'll come down, and then you might start to see some hyena activity as well. So we've got two of the youngest members of the Ottawa Pride here, brother and sister. You'll see them still very cub-like, very playful. You'll see them a combination of playing with themselves and playing together, as well as have a look at how they play with the carcass. They grab the leg and they jump on it and try and grab it, and it's all part of the development of the lions into being able to hunt. You'll see them chasing each other as well, jumping and grabbing hold of their backs. Whenever they kind of fight, they'll go straight for the throat, just to try and practice all of those moves for when they get older and have to hunt for themselves. The young males will have to move off when they turn about 3 years old, and they'll be left to do all the hunting by themselves. The female will most probably stay inside the pride and learn more from the lionesses. So here we have all three of the cubs of the Ottawa Pride. That slowly is, we're going to have to start changing the word cub into sub-adults not far from now. As they approach 2 years old, they'll be 2 in October. It's amazing to see how much they've grown in the last 5 or 6 months. Definitely a large carcass like a giraffe is going to help them stay strong and stay growing nice and big. So with the giraffe carcass being right on the northern bank of the Sand River, the lions are very lucky that they've got quite a bit of shade not too far away from the carcass at all, but they've also got the beautiful clean water to drink from the Sand River. So you'll see a couple of the youngsters coming down now, the older cub coming down and having a drink. The rest of the pride will move through quite regularly now. Otherwise they have to sit on the carcass for a while and then move quite a long distance to go and get water. So pretty happy cats, nice big full bellies, and the Sand River right here to get water and shade. That's pretty much all a lion needs. Alrighty folks, we're going to leave the Ottawa Pride here on this giraffe carcass. Most of them settling down now, the cubs finished playing, so I'm pretty sure they'll be here throughout the day, and maybe we'll catch up with them a little bit later this afternoon and see if anything has changed. Alright, good afternoon everyone, we're heading back out, myself and Ali. Started off just as we come out to camp, a nice small breeding herd of elephants here. We'll spend a bit of time with them, and then probably head up towards the river and see what the otters got up to around that giraffe carcass. It's always lovely to see these elephants, couple of little babies here. So if you look carefully, you'll notice there all of a sudden that they've actually just all stopped feeding, gone completely still. And that normally means that they can hear another herd of elephants. Someone else is communicating to them, so they all stop and they all listen. And then it's always lovely to see how they communicate to each other. So while we've been driving up towards the Sand River here, come see the giraffe carcass and where the otters have been left, we've entered the Sand River, and very luckily we've spotted Xivindzi. When you've got a large carcass like that, like a giraffe, very common for it to attract other predators. End of last week when the giraffe was found, we had signs of Nyeleti had been come through the area, and now his son Xivindzi has been in the area. Pretty bold task considering there's a big pride of lions there and a large male lion as well, so he's definitely keeping his distance, but probably went to investigate and see if he could find something to eat. So have a look how he's busy smelling quite intensely around this area along that log, and this is a very common spot for his father Nyeleti to come and scent mark. So he'll be walking past. don't think it's the lions. The lions are just directly opposite the sand river here, on the other side of the watercourse where that giraffe is. But always keeping a scent open for where mom is and mom and dad, and before he gets territorial on that and starts scent marking himself. So Xivindzi's just crossed this little gully and is moving along the southern bank of the Sand River here. As you can see in front of me, it's tremendously thick and it's very hard to follow him through the vegetation here. So I think that's where we're going to leave him, and we'll cross over the river and go have a look and see what the lions are up to for the afternoon. So we seem to have all the scavengers around this afternoon. The vultures who have been patiently waiting all day. Still one lioness protecting the carcass from them. We've got the marabou stork that's joined us. We just saw him fly in. Also another big scavenger that will come and eat on any type of carrion. We've seen a hyena not too far from here now, and so everything waiting patiently for the lions to kind of get their fill of this carcass, and then they'll move in on top of it. Alright folks, I think we're going to leave the Ottawa Pride here as the sun starts to dip. You can see the lions still very full, and almost all of them fast asleep, besides the one that's kind of just moved up onto the carcass now. So we'll start to drive all the way back down towards Savanna, and we'll see what else we can find for you on the way home. Alright folks, we're just getting back down to Savanna. We're getting pretty close to the camp, so I think we're going to call it a night there. Before we say goodbye, I just wanted to say happy birthday to Mike Atkinson. I hope you've had a fantastic day, and thanks for joining us on your birthday safari. And otherwise, thanks very much for joining us with the lions this morning, and great to see Xivindzi again, and we'll see you all bright and early in the morning.